Hey, Dr. Fisher here. Today we are going to talk about how to prepare for this here recovery suite, because we want to make sure that you get the most out of your session. So in a general sense, these sessions are going to be about 30 minutes long, and they're more than just about coming in and using some technology. So we're going to talk about a couple of things: how to prepare, what to prepare for, what to avoid while you're in the actual recovery suite. And it's important to understand that preparation isn't about preparing perfectly. This is about creating the conditions that are going to increase your chances of having an experience that you're looking for, that's going to be transformatory, that's going to add energy, add health to what you're trying to accomplish. This is about resting, resetting, and allowing your nervous system to reorganize, if you will. So one of the things that's really important that I want to make sure that you take home is that the recovery suite is really about a state change, not a particular task. Oftentimes, for example, many of us like checklists, right? We like to write something down. I have an activity I need to do, and I'm going to check it off the list for today, right? And so we want to avoid looking at the recovery suite as the checkbox thing I need to do today, because what we want is we really want to just be in the experience. And so it's important to understand that we want to avoid this idea that we have to get it right or do it well. It's just something that you're going to come and participate in, and it naturally, as you be in your own body, as you practice working through this process, it will naturally be the environment that sets you up for success and helps with that state change. So if you come in rushed, depleted, overstimulated, or trying to force an outcome, that's going to make the experience more difficult, right? Your nervous system is going to have a specific expectation and it's going to be attached to that. And it's going to be harder for you to be able to downshift and just let go, surrender to the experience, and in that unhurried way, be able to have that state shift that we're looking for. And it's so funny because it's one of those situations where in order to have the best experience, you actually have to let go of the experience to have the best experience. So it's a practice skill as well. So know that it's okay if you don't get it right the first time. So this is where preparation is really important, in the idea that what we're trying to do is we're trying to give you the basics of how to be successful here. So again, going back to, and you've probably all heard me say this over and over again, hydration is number one. It's really important to make sure that you have drank enough water, preferably several days minimum before you come in here, to really have the best experience. And the general rule of thumb, everybody's a little bit different, but the general rule of thumb is half your body weight in ounces, up to 3/4 of your body weight in ounces if we're really working on seeing something change more rapidly. The body needs to be in a fed state, it needs to be in a safe state, and it's important to understand that we're trying to hydrate you. That's going to be our baseline. Now, if you're drinking a ton of water, more than you're used to, you can ask me specifically in relation to your specific situation, but making sure you're doing enough electrolytes with it, if you're doing some of that extra water, oftentimes can be really helpful in keeping you well. So maybe sometimes just adding a little bit of sea salt, Celtic salt, the real pink Himalayan salt, that can be helpful to make sure that you're getting that water and it's staying in your system. So it's also important to be able to have eaten before you get here. The more advanced people, sometimes they can do a fasting regimen and come in here and have a state change experience as well. But for those people who are coming in, they're just beginners, or even intermediate people, the majority of the time we're trying to get your body into a state change. It's much easier if you are fed. Your nervous system is going to feel like it has enough fuel. And sometimes even people who are on a carnivore or no sugar diet, it might be helpful to have some sweet potatoes or yams or something along those lines, a high quality complex carb at least a day before and or the day of, and that also helps your nervous system downshift so you can have a better state shift experience. Now the next piece is going to be clothing, right? So clothing is an essential piece that we all need as we interact in the world. And so when you come here, there's going to be a couple of different aspects of this. One, when we have the red light bed, which is going to be coming soon, There will be a need to possibly disrobe, and so you want to wear clothing that's easy to and comfortable to disrobe under the right circumstances. And for those people who are not worried too terribly much about the red light bed, it's still important to be able to come in comfy clothes. Non-restrictive clothing tends to work the best, a little loose, nothing fancy. We're just looking for comfortables, just so you can get in that safe space. Now, again, we talked about this goals versus presence, as you will, as it's often referred to as. This is the thing that matters most, more than people realize. So again, a goal is an important part of this process. Say, for example, you're a mom who's tired and has a bunch of kids, and she's looking for mental focus and energy to go jogging with and play with her friends again, and to be able to find balance in working with her kids, or whatever the situation is for you. It's important to be able to have those end goals in mind. I want to be able to go jogging. I want to be able to play with my kids and wrestle around with them. I want to be able to focus at work a little bit more than I have been, and I've been so exhausted I'm not feeling very well. So have that clear goal of what you want your end in mind. And then when you come into the office, leave that goal at home. Leave that goal in your car. Leave that goal at the front door of the office, because when you come into the recovery suite, what we want is presence. We don't want goals here. We want presence. That's going to be the state shift. Now, oftentimes people get stuck in a safety loop in their mind. They literally go and live in their mind. That's a safety component. We want you to be able to state shift. Your entire body is going to be part of that process. So the more you can leave those left brain linear logical things at the door or at home, the easier it's going to be for you to have a wonderful experience. So some of the things that might be an example for you additionally are something like, I want to feel calmer in my body. I want more mental clarity. I want to recover from stress or burnout. I want more energy for my life. And again, the more specific you can get on these particular goals, the better your experience is going to be. And then again, you leave that intention outside the room so that when you get here, we're going to let go of this idea of striving for that and just be present. And so from that shift from the goal-oriented to the present-oriented or flow state, that's what is going to allow your nervous system to reorganize, to heal, to repair, to do something different than it was doing before. Because the old statement, being crazy or something along those lines, is the idea that you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So we're really looking to change that situation for you. So again, just a quick overview. When you come into this room, being able to leave your worries and your cares outside of this room, taking off your shoes, leaving your coat on the seat, getting yourself comfortable, giving yourself time to transition into the experience, checking in with yourself, making sure you're hydrated enough, being able to close the door and take a brief moment of being able to see how your body feels. That's going to be a really important part of being able to get the most out of your experience. And so this idea of the recovery environment, you can see around this room that it's really set up for you so that you don't have to think about it. That's really important. We don't want you to focus on having to concentrate on anything. We don't want you to have to worry about this idea of I have to relax. You don't have to control your thoughts. And so it's really important to understand that while you're in here, if your mind wanders, that's okay. Just give yourself full permission to just walk through the sensations, see what the experience is like. The tech and or the room is going to help you walk through the process. All those things are normal, especially in the very beginning. It's really important to just let yourself work through the process. Gentle awareness is helpful. If you do want to put your mind into the experience, you can pay attention to where's the warmth in my body, where is the tightness in my body, how's my breathing, and maybe some slow breaths in and out. If you want to make it fancy, which I would be real cautious with, if it puts you into a state of hyper alertness, anything I'm about to say, just ignore this. But you can do some slower breathing, for example. The people who are able to come in and relax, you can do a 4-4 box breath, or you can do an Andrew Weil breath. So it's a 4 breath in, hold for 7, 8 breath out. The general idea is if you can downshift your nervous system, and the breath in, on the breath out, in comparison to that, is going to be longer than the breath in, your nervous system is going to downshift. And so, again, that's only for those people who actually feel safe and comfortable coming into the office. Until you've established your nervous system safety, we want you to avoid coming in with any of these preconceived notions that you have to do anything. And so one of the important pieces to understand too is you don't have to push through discomfort. If you're going to be in here, if you need to pause and take a break at any time, you can. Take off the headset, come take a seat somewhere else in the room. This room is yours for the experience. So take your time. That's really important. Now, one of the most common questions we get or have gotten in relationship to this room is, how will I know if it worked? And so the hard part with this answer is sometimes people will know right away, they'll feel the state shift, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Sometimes hours or 1, 2, or 3 days is usually where most people recognize the change. So for example, a lot of people have expressed to us that they feel less reactive. Focus comes a little more easy. That's something that I notice a lot myself. Difficult interactions, you have more capacity rather than collapsing. You have more capacity and more space within yourself to have the interactions with difficult situations. They just feel easier. They just flow more easy. It's easier to be more productive or calm without trying. This is some of the cool stuff. So again, some of the things I really want to hit and emphasize here is this idea of staying hydrated after your session, not just before. It's a really important part. Your brain and your body is going to do a lot of work with that water, and it's essential for you to be able to get the most out of the experience. Also, if you can, keeping the rest of your day a little bit gentler if possible really makes a huge difference on your body's capacity to be able to work through the process and integrate in conjunction with some quiet time associated with that. You can do some processing things if you have some skills or activities you like, maybe a little drawing or painting, coloring, a little bit of writing, walking, being in nature. Some of those things also can accelerate this. And so this is a great little quote that I want to leave you with today. This is not about chasing a feeling. It's about allowing change to consolidate. And that's going to happen inside your body, inside your mind. And again, just a reminder, this is a process. It's not a one-time event. A lot of people do feel quite a drastic change after just one event, but this is really about the greater experience of your health and wellness and being able to get the most out of this. Some of the reason why the consistent use of sessions work is because sessions build familiarity. And so the more familiar you are with the experience, the more your nervous system is going to learn that pathway that you've gone down. And that's going to allow you to really go more and more at depth into your nervous system, allowing your brain and your body and your mind to consolidate, clear stuff out, clear stuck stuff, and really get the most out of the experience. Now, obviously, it's going to be customized to the individual, but 1 to 3 times a week is a pretty regular pattern that we see people going through. And so it's important to understand a couple of things that I want to leave you with. You don't need to do this perfectly. We want to do everything we can to avoid forcing anything. Your body already knows how to recover. We're just trying to get it into the right state in order to be able to do so and give it a little nudge and support to be able to do that process. Preparation just simply makes this process unfold at a much easier rate, and you're just going to have so much more success as you do that. We really look forward to supporting you, and we really look forward to having you come and get the most out of this recovery suite. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below or reach out and ask us. We're here to support you in your health and your well-being. This is Dr. Fisher signing out.